What's going on, everybody? You already know who it is, man. It is your boy, Jared Fit, and we are back to react with what's new on the tube, man. Today, it's been a good weekend so far, man. Been reacting to a lot of videos, bro. But I'm not gonna stop, bro. I'm excited. Bringing you guys the reactions, man. Appreciate you guys for showing so much love to this channel, man. You guys have been running it up. I can't explain how much it's motivating me to see the results that I've had in the last 2 weeks to keep putting out this kind of content for y'all, because you guys are really responding to it. So I appreciate everybody that's been showing me love, man. We have 70 subs, bro, 100 soon, and dude, we're not even stopping, bro. We're not even close to stopping. So just sit back, enjoy the ride, and yeah, bro, we got the infographic show again today. They lied to you about the Illuminati. Truth will shock you. Now, you guys know, bro, I love reacting conspiracy reacts over here. Fresh grades reacts, graduate reacts too. It's been a big week, guys, man. If you're not caught up, bro, you got to catch up on my other videos. I'm always linking the videos at the end. We have a lot of content, so you guys can choose from whatever. But yeah, man, I like conspiracy theories. We try to catch up on all the videos that we see across the feed and shit, see what's trending. But even deep diving and shit, dude, I'm always looking out for stuff to react to. We're not afraid to react to anything over here. If you guys want me to react to stuff, just leave it in the comments, send it to me, and I'll get to it, man. We're the most consistent reactor on the tube. And yeah, bro, I wanted to jump into this video because I want to see what the infographic show has to say. Yeah, man, I have my own opinions about whatever they say is the Illuminati, and we'll just see what aligns and what doesn't, give our opinions where they matter, and just jump right into it, man. Let's see what the infographics got.
To the all-seeing eye atop the pyramid of the US dollar, they're linked to a mysterious group set to control everything from world governments to pop culture itself, the Illuminati. Is there any truth to these claims? Did the secretive organization really replace George Washington with one of their own? And what's the real story behind the infamous eye? This is the true story of the Illuminati, the most mysterious secret society that literally everyone seems to know about. Our story doesn't start with the music industry, the media, or the US dollar. It doesn't even begin in the US, the modern epicenter of theories around the mysterious group. In fact, it all started all the way back in 1776 in Bavaria, Germany. Folks whose brains are wired to notice certain patterns may have also noticed that this was the same year the US achieved independence from the British. We assure you, it's a total coincidence. There were two key groups that existed before the Bavarian Illuminati of the 1700s, and often end up getting...
Y'all believe it's a coincidence?
The Rosicrucians and the Illuminados. The Rosicrucian order, allegedly founded in the 17th century, was a secretive group of German occultists who claimed to possess powerful esoteric knowledge. Their beliefs were a bizarre combo of Egyptian Hermeticism, Christian Gnosticism, Jewish Kabbalah, alchemy, and other miscellaneous esoterica. The Illuminados arrived on the scene even earlier, emerging in the 15th and 16th centuries Spain, sometimes referred to as the original Illuminati. This mystical group performed a mystical variety of Christianity before being arguably wiped out by the Spanish Inquisition. Because of the complicated nature of the theories surrounding the supposed modern-day Illuminati, they're all often rolled into one, but they really don't have much relevance when it comes to the organization that really started it all. And way back to 1776, in the birth of the first true Illuminati, a canon law professor at the Jesuit-run University of Ingolstadt named Adam Weishaupt decided he wanted to make a change in his home nation. The monarchy and the church seemed to rule everything, so he started an exclusive group for like-minded individuals called the Order of the Illuminati, which means enlightened. Weishaupt and his fellow members landed on the name after being inspired by the scientific and social ideas of the Enlightenment period. They hoped that they could create a little enlightenment of their own. In the words of Bavarian journalist Michael Kleiner, while they leads Illuminati walking tours around Ingolstadt in the modern day, quote, Weishaupt liked the idea of teaching people to be better human beings. He wanted to change society. He was dreaming of a better world, of a better government. He started the Illuminati with the idea that everything known to humankind should be taught. The members of the Bavarian Illuminati called themselves...
Multitask reacts, man. You already know we're always paying attention.
Wasn't extremely extra. They wanted to enshrine the values of reason and good sense. They decried the influence that superstition and religion had on culture at the time. Separation of church and state in 1700s Europe wasn't exactly going great, so they kept their activities under wraps to avoid persecution from powerful religious institutions, which is why they held their first meeting in the woods near Ingolstadt. This 5-man team, all promising law students, handpicked by Weishaupt, continues to lay out
under only 30, bro. I would have liked to. I mean, I would have. I don't care what to think, but I would have thought that it's fucking way more than 30, honestly.
The ground rules of their special new club. It was of vital importance that all of this remained a secret. Given that the church controlled the University of Ingolstadt, if anyone found out about Weishaupt's new little social club, he and all his students would be left out in the cold. Around this time, they also developed their first iconic symbol, and it actually didn't have anything to do with eyes or triangles. It was the owl of Minerva.
Dude, what's that owl from?
This reflected their desire to follow the pursuit of knowledge.
A spot in California.
Incidentally, owls are also
something Grove.
Freemasonry, another secret society that often gets lumped into Illuminati theories. And funnily enough,
dude, I hope they do a Freemason video. Sorry, I'm talking over it. I hope they do a Freemason video. That would be freaking awesome.
So an important symbol in Freemasonry, another secret society that often gets lumped into Illuminati theories. And funnily enough, their connection really doesn't come out of nowhere. The Freemasons are a much older organization that can trace its roots all the way back to the stonemason guilds in the 14th century. It's almost 500 years before the Order of the Illuminati was a twinkle in Adam Weishaupt's eye. In fact, the Freemasons were one of the biggest inspirations for the Illuminati's operations and structure. A secret society that had already successfully endured several centuries was probably a good model to follow. Once the group was up and running, Freemason lodges became prime recruiting grounds for the Illuminati. After all, if someone was already part of one secret society and had proven that they could keep their mouths shut, they were the perfect candidate for another. Over time, the group's ranks and rules started to solidify themselves. In order to be led into the group, you needed the unanimous approval of every other member, and you needed to come from a family with good standing. Ideally, you'd have some serious wealth behind you as well. All of these factors helped the group increase its influence as it slowly spread into other parts of Germany, Reichstadt, Freising, Munich, and more. They also created a caste system for the members, which we won't lie is every bit as weirdly overcomplicated as you could imagine. Okay, so stay with us for a second here. The first set of classes were for normal members. They joined as a novice, and then they leveled up to become a Minerval, and eventually an illuminated Minerval or Illuminati. The second class consisted of Freemasons who had a whole different system to worry about. They were ordinary Scottish Irish or Scottish knight. And then there were the ministry classes, which included the ranks of priest, regent, magnus, and king. You can't have a secret society without a bunch of crazy code names if you're not willing to
These code names are lit.
offering it all. As the organization developed, getting in also got more complicated than just having fat sacks and a famous family. At one point, there was allegedly a 13-step initiation process, and moving up in the ranks was just as weird and complicated. In order to change your station, you had to take part in a ritual which involved compiling a list of all the books you owned. Remember, these guys were huge nerds. You also had to make a list of all your enemies, a list of your weaknesses, and of course, solemnly swear to sacrifice your own interests to that of the group if push came to shove. That was just one of their many grandiose principles. But one of the group's most well-known and
It's like the mafia, bro.
summed up in the following quote, found in the Bavarian Illuminati's general statutes. The order of the day is to put an end to the machinations of the purveyors of injustice, to control them without dominating them. You can probably see already how this could be easily interpreted as a call for secret control, exactly the kind of shadowy world domination that modern Illuminati conspiracy theorists obsess over. The irony is that the original Bavarian Illuminati was much closer to libertarian than authoritarian on the political compass, standing against state oppression across Europe. The circle of the Illuminati was essentially a place for free discussion between its members, where they didn't have to fear violence from the state just for speaking their minds. And clearly, they weren't the only ones who were sick of the system in Europe, as the membership of the Illuminati quickly boomed from its initial 5 recruits. As their numbers grew, they developed their most valuable weapon to use against the church and the state oppressors: information. They effectively created a complex spy network who could inform them of the main wrongdoings of their enemies, which would then be used as propaganda for converting more people to their cause. Far from being the shadowy group behind the levers of power that people imagine today, they were actually a kind of resistance group, fighting the powers that be. But things didn't really take off for the Bavarian Order of the Illuminati until they gained a highly important new member, Baron Adolf Franz Friedrich Freiherr von Geniga.
You said what? What was his last name?
Whose wealth, connections, and jet-setting lifestyle. They gained a highly important new member, Baron Adolf Franz Friedrich Freiherr von Geniga.
What was his last name, bro? Infographics, bro. I was like, what the hell?
A German diplomat and a Freemason whose wealth, connections, and jet-setting lifestyle across Europe made him the perfect envoy for the Illuminati cause. He set up bases of operations in France, Poland, Hungary, and Italy, as well as the rest of Bavaria. Before anyone could even say
Seems like a pretty influential guy.
The little secret society was able to count 2,000 members in its ranks all across Europe. But as the old secret society saying goes, more members, more problems. In 1784, a well-known local
This dude's stupid, bro. More members, more problems.
decided to crack down on unauthorized organizations. He enacted legislation banning any group that wasn't explicitly approved by the government, putting the Illuminati directly in his crosshairs. And just for good measure, in 1785, he made a more specific edict that just banned the Illuminati in particular, just in case people didn't get the message. Things didn't look good for Adam Weishaupt and his rapidly expanding movement. But then, in 1786, just 10 years after the group was founded, the Bavarian authorities got wind of the seditious nature of their activities. They intercepted their writings, which contained things that the church really wasn't fond of, like writing in support of such taboo acts and lifestyles as atheism and abortion. After this, the Bavarian government decided to take direct action, infiltrating the order of the Illuminati and
Bro, that's crazy. I have to go back and look at our Super Bowl forums. I don't remember it from 2013, but it must be crazy. I've heard of like spike 800%. Bro, we know about Beyonce, so.
Seeing his dream of a better world become a reality. This is just how the story of the modern day Illuminati starts. The first major Illuminati conspiracy theory took hold just 11 years after the group was disbanded, while Adam Weishaupt was still alive. In 1797, Scottish physicist and writer John Robinson and French ex-Jesuit priest Abbé Augustin Bachurel falsely claimed that the Illuminati, along with other secret societies, were the real masterminds behind the French Revolution. The Illuminati had ruffled a lot of feathers among conservative and religious figures and had become a favorite scapegoat for any geopolitical strife that upset the Catholic Church. And after all the mudslinging that cast the Illuminati as a dark architect of the French reign of terror, the conspiracies around the group soon spread to the New World. In the newly independent United States, a young nation still defining its identity, the Illuminati took the role of the favorite mythological supervillain. Preachers across the nation, like Boston Fire and Brimstone pastor Jedediah Morse, stated the Illuminati were scheming to take over the United States. But political control wasn't enough. According to Morse and his peers, the secret society sought to end Christianity, replacing it with sex and devil worship. They claimed the Illuminati would infiltrate every layer of society, government, business, the church, and even the press, engaging in cultural warfare to poison the mind of a nation. It doesn't sound an awful lot different than the way people talk about the group today, honestly. Then former President George Washington even mentioned the Illuminati in his personal letters, which only added fuel to the fire. This led to one of the wildest conspiracy theories of all, that Washington had even been assassinated and secretly replaced by none other than Adam Weishaupt himself. Even Jedediah Morse might have struggled to sell that one.
I mean, we knew George Washington was a Freemason,
so.
So.
Approach, reportedly recommending John Robinson's book about the Illuminati to her friends, perhaps as a warning or maybe just as some bedtime reading. The Illuminati myth became so widespread that it even became a part of the presidential race between the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans in 1800. Claiming your political opponent is actually a part of a cabal of Satanists is a tradition nearly as old as America itself. Things in the world of Illuminati conspiracies went dormant for a while. After all, the U.S. had plenty of other things on its mind, from a civil war to a world war followed by an economic depression, and for good measure another world war. But if the theories surrounding the Illuminati are anything, they are enduring, and soon enough they would bound to renew themselves in the 20th century. And that is exactly what happened in the 1960s. The New Age movement birthed a new creation, Discordianism. This was a movement that would lay the groundwork for the new American understanding of the Illuminati. And the cruel irony of it was that it was all just a big joke, a parody religion made by a bunch of anarchist hippies lampooning the very concept of religion itself. Their central text, the satirical piece called Principia Discordia, was what set everything in motion.
Bro.
Because as you're going to discover later, people who are really into Illuminati conspiracy theories don't really have a great grasp of irony. The religion claimed to worship Eris, the Greek goddess of chaos, and their devotees practiced their faith by playing pranks and trolling. They sent letters to conspiracy-minded conservative figures in the media and claimed to be members of the Bavarian Illuminati. The letters stated that they controlled everything that went on in the world. And little by little, this band of merry pranksters were reviving the conspiracy that haunted the earliest days of the nation, and they were having a great time doing it. They didn't have any idea just how huge this little rolling snowball would get, as the pranks escalated into even creating fake ads for the Illuminati to stir up public outcry. Dr. Michael Wood of the University of Winchester, an expert in the psychology of conspiracy theories, has said of what the Illuminati has spiraled into, the conspiracy theory is what we call a super conspiracy, or basically a conspiracy that controls smaller conspiracies. People do talk about the Illuminati, but a lot of time it's in a joking or self-aware kind of way, almost making fun of the idea of a global conspiracy. And there's no denying that this so-called super conspiracy has perpetuated itself in pop culture in a way that has only fanned the flames of belief. One of the fulcrum points for the presentation of Illuminati in modern fiction is the Illuminatus trilogy, a series of satirical conspiracy novels created by Robert Shea and Robert Anton Wilson in 1975. This was arguably one of the driving forces in getting the name Illuminati back into the modern public consciousness centuries after the Bavarian Illuminati's dissolution. Oh, and of course the two Roberts were gleeful card-carrying Discordians, whose main drags were writing for Playboy magazine too. But it didn't end there. No, in fact it was just getting started. The trilogy of books went on to inspire a strategy-based satirical card game, also simply called Illuminati, released in 1982 by Steve Jackson Games, which naturally inspired more conspiracy theories.
That's
Because
crazy.
scoured the cards for similarities to real-world events, convinced the game was secretly revealing the Illuminati's master plan. One of the Illuminatis writers fanned the flames further. He penned an introduction to a new edition of the game in 1983. Naming the Illuminati behind this game, they are, by definition, behind everything. To many, these would just seem like cheeky jokes made by artists trying to promote their work, but it all gets folded into the Illuminati super conspiracy as tacit admissions of what's really going on behind the scenes. In the modern day, the Illuminati isn't just portrayed as a shadowy force pulling the strings of world events. It's also seen as a group that loves to taunt the masses. According to conspiracy theorists, they take sadistic pleasure in hiding their symbols in plain sight, daring people to uncover their influence. In 2020, dubious YouTube titan WatchMojo released a video about 30 different celebrities that theorists have connected to the Illuminati, including Justin Bieber, Angelina Jolie, Ludacris, Andrew WK, Doja Cat, Usain Bolt, Katy Perry, and LeBron James. And frankly, that is just scratching the tip of the iceberg. But if we even attempted to list every person that theorists have connected to the Illuminati, it would make this video 5 hours long. The Illuminati has been referenced in the works of popular author Dan Brown. It's a group of superheroes in the Marvel Comics canon. It's commonly associated with Eyes Wide Shut, the last movie by acclaimed director Stanley Kubrick, and references to it have made its way into shows like Netflix's canceled conspiracy comedy Inside Job. There's also the character Bill Cipher from Disney's Gravity Falls, who's designed to look like the pyramid with the Eye of Providence on a dollar bill. And with every pop culture nod, the super conspiracy grows. Suddenly, the Illuminati isn't just a secret cabal. It's behind the JFK assassination and the September 11th World Trade Center attacks. And that's when they're not apparently busy with their day job of funding and directing hip-hop and pop music videos. You may also start wondering, what's the story behind the Illuminati Eye? It's one of the most famous and enduring pieces of iconography associated with the group and its activities. Turns out it actually has nothing to do with the Illuminati at all. The symbol is technically called the Eye of Providence. It was originally part of Christianity, meant to represent the all-seeing eye of the Almighty himself. It's been used for that same meaning by the Freemasons in the past, who, as we mentioned earlier, have been subject to a lot of the same conspiracy theories as the Illuminati. It first appeared on the US dollar in 1862, and given that it's on the same bill as George Washington, who was a Freemason and a Christian, it makes sense that Christian and Freemason iconography would appear there as a tribute to the man himself. The other most famous eye was in the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, an illustrated take on the human rights document of post-revolutionary France. Here, the eye represents vigilance and reason. But given the endless theories about the Illuminati's supposed role in the French Revolution, you can almost see how conspiracy theorists connected the dots, whether they were really there or not. Professor Yolanda Jetton, the head of the School of Psychology at the University of Queensland, has said that people who most often fall victim to conspiracies are, quote, quite lonely people. They're often at the margins of society. They have lower status positions, and by actually believing these conspiracy theories online, and having others who believe them too, you create a bit of a community. You actually set yourself apart in a positive way because you know things that the rest of us don't. And in a world where life
I don't know who that lady thinks she is, bro.
Conspiracy theories, like
Just because I choose to look deeper into certain things doesn't mean I'm lonely, man. Like, I know plenty of people who choose to spend their time researching things that actually pertain to them. Like, people look into these kinds of things because it actually has to do with us. Like, there's a difference between, like, absolutely allowing yourself to throw, like, your entire life into a conspiracy and just be delusional versus actually educating yourself. Like, there's nothing wrong with educating yourself and trying to learn the deeper meaning behind choosing what the national media just throws in our face. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who that lady was.
Centuries after the original Bavarian order was wiped out, but one question might still linger. What did Jay-Z and Beyonce have to do with this? Conspiracy theorists have long speculated that the musical duo are tied to the Illuminati, secretly working to usher in a new world order. The smoking gun is a triangular hand signal that they have both made during performances. Theorists say this is a reference to the Eye of Providence. We're sorry to burst your bubble on this, but the hand symbol isn't even meant to be any old triangle. Instead, it's a diamond, a reference to Jay-Z's production company, Roc Nation. And the sad truth is, does what's true really even matter anymore? Feel free to argue about that in the comments. Was the Illuminati just an Enlightenment-era club that got blown out of proportion, or is there something more to the conspiracy? And why do you think it continues to thrive after all these years? Drop your theories below.
Let me know what you guys think, man. That's gonna do it for this video. I thought it was a pretty interesting video. Seemed like they played a pretty neutral side, like when it came to like kind of explaining things, what was going on in the Illuminati. It offered some really good information. I knew a little bit about like the original club and how it started, and like why it kind of blew up. Like the conspiracy theories kind of blew up out of proportion. But it was cool to learn some like new other like pieces of it too. You know what I'm saying? Like I had no idea about the nigga dude. Like that's a crazy name, dude. The way INFOGRAPHICS just dropped that, I was like, hold up, what? Kind of made me lock back in on the video. But yeah, man, you guys think that there's an Illuminati, or is there just a social club? You know, I'm not going to say too much. Never want to put myself out there in a negative way. But yeah, man, I thought it was an interesting video to react to. Let me know if there's more videos like this that you want me to react to. We're not afraid to react to anything, man. I was saying earlier in the video, I hope they do a Freemason video. That shit would be live. If you haven't checked out my Scientology video, I just did a video reacting to Scientology. It was a Tommy G video. That was a good video. You guys should check it out if you like more videos like this. And like I always tell you, comment below more videos you want me to react to, more conspiracies that we can pick up on. And yeah, man, I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. And as always, see you in the next video, man. Let's go.